Good morning, guys, and welcome back. So it is kind of early, a little bit early. I woke up earlier than what I wanted to this morning, unfortunately, you guys, because, well, first of all, I have some actually good news. This vlog really is about good news and inspiration and positivity. So, yeah, where do I begin? So, I had this dream last night, y'all, and I wouldn't say it came out of nowhere because I actually was thinking about something prior to falling asleep, which I will talk about in my next vlog. It deserves its own vlog, so I'll be doing another vlog after this one to discuss what kind of, I guess, triggered my dream, so to speak. But I had this dream, you guys, last night. It was amazing. So I have dreams often, by the way. I've been dreaming since I was a little girl. I've been having very vivid dreams. You know, my imagination is just crazy. It's no wonder I'm a writer and an author, but I have all kinds of dreams. And last night, a really interesting dream occurred to me last night, y'all. And I didn't see it coming. It just came out of, like I said, I won't say it came out of nowhere, but in a way it did, because I didn't think that I would have a dream about Dr. Umar Johnson, you guys. I literally had a dream where I met Dr. Umar Johnson, y'all, last night. And it was amazing. It's I can't remember all of the details because a lot of my dreams I really don't remember every single detail that happens in the dream. But I'm gonna tell you guys what I remember. So in the dream, we were at this, I want to say it was a public venue. It was a public, hopefully it doesn't rain, you guys. I'm outside at the park. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Looks like there's an overcast. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't rain. But yeah, in the dream, I remember it was a public setting. So we were at this place. I want to say something like a mall, because I know it had several floors. I remember escalators, and there was a lot of people there. And it seemed to be some type of gathering, right? And it's all of a sudden, me and Dr. Umar Johnson were in the same room. And all I can remember is the task of the dream. So I can't remember some specific certain details. I can remember some details, but not every single thing that happened in the dream. But I can remember that the task of the dream, because it seemed like a lot of times in my dreams there's some type of goal that has to be achieved or something. So in the dream, y'all, oh, it's funny to me because I was just so excited that I would have a dream like this. But so it's the whole time in a dream, the goal was for me and Dr. Umar Johnson, both of us working to try to isolate ourselves from the crowd, the group of people. We were trying to get away from everyone else so we can be alone privately. And it seemed to be so hard. It seemed like the entire dream, that's what the whole thing was happening. We were just trying to find a place, or at least trying to get people just away from us so that me and him can be alone by ourselves. And in the dream, I was so thrilled, so excited, so happy, right? That I'm in Dr. Umar Johnson's presence. And not only that, when I saw him in the dream, he looked just like he does on video, because I never seen him in real life, I would like to, but I never met Dr. Umar Johnson personally, face to face. But I do recall he looked just like he did in real life, same stature, everything was the same. And I was just in awe, y'all. And when I say the entire dream, that was just the goal. Can we just get along? Can we just get away from everyone else, right? Can we just have a moment to ourselves? And the moment, this is the kicker, y'all, the freaking moment, the moment we had a time of isolation to ourselves, Guess what happened, y'all? Guess what? It always happens like this. I wake up. I'm like, y'all don't know how angry I was. I was so upset this morning, y'all, when I woke up. And I woke up around like 6:30. So usually, you guys know, like, I'm on my PhD programs and I see clients. So I usually wake up every morning at 6:45 in the morning. That's the time I usually wake up, you know? So even on days like, let's say today's Saturday, when I don't have work or school, you know, I wake up early at that time without an alarm clock. It's just something that naturally happens. And so I woke up this morning, it was like around 6:25, 6:30. I checked the time, I'm like, damn, it's early as fuck. Like, why did I wake up? Why did my body wake up? But I had to use the restroom. I actually had to pee. So I went and used the restroom. And I try to do the most infamous thing that we all do, right? When we're having a good dream, we wake up. I tried to hurry up, use the restroom, and go back to sleep so the dream could continue. But it didn't happen that way, y'all. I was just like so disappointed because that was my moment, y'all. It's like I was there. We were there. And not only like were we there, but we were like, it was about to go down, y'all. I don't have to I'm not about to go into detail. I don't have to explicitly say what it means to go, but it was about to go down. You know, y'all who follow me know what I'm talking. It was about to go down. And I woke up. I was like, breathe. I was so freaking disappointed. And so, like I said, I went to use the restroom and I ran back to my bed, and I'm just like trying to go back to sleep, but I could not fall back asleep, y'all, for nothing in the world. I couldn't fall back asleep. And then usually, this might be too much information, but you know, y'all can relate. Usually, you know, my bowels move in the morning, so I'm thinking I can just go use the restroom and do number one. I had to fucking get it back up out my bed, go do number two. I'm like, ugh. Ain't no way I'm going to be able to continue that dream. It's just like, fuck. But I bet if it was a nightmare, I'm pretty sure I would have been able to fall back asleep and it would have happened again, right? It seemed like nightmares usually happen that way, where you can't just escape a nightmare. You fall back asleep and then the nightmare continues. But so that was my morning this morning, y'all. Like, I was just like, why? It would have been so great to just be, y'all, okay. Maybe, who knows? Maybe tonight it may continue. Who knows? Like, I don't know. But I just found to be kind of like, that was a treat just to be able to like be there. I woke up, even though I was disappointed, I had a good feeling over my body, like within me. I just felt good. You know, it's like, that's what happens. Like when you have a good dream and you wake up, you feel like your body, your mind feels good. So, you know, even though like the ending being that I had to wake up, it's kind of disappointing. It was like I still felt refreshed. You know, I had a good night's sleep and it's a great dream. I felt good, you guys. Like, it was amazing. So that was that. I know a lot of you guys are probably like, why is this girl all up on Dr. Umar Johnson? Because he stole on people money and he's a fraud, and why is she supporting him? Let me just say this, because I feel like I have to say this. I can't mention his name without saying this, you know, because y'all know I support him. And it's interesting because I think some people may think that I kind of been following him for like years, but I actually haven't. You know, and even when I was talking to his father, I remember one night we were texting. I asked him, like, just out of curiosity, how old was he, right? I asked his father, like, how old was Jamal? How old was he? And his reply was, I thought you already knew that. Like, I thought you would do your research. You already know that. And I'm like, why would you think I would know how old you are? You know, it was like, well, you've been following. I was like, I don't know. Some people think that just because like you follow them now, like you always been following them, but that's not true. I haven't been always following Dr. Umar Johnson. And to be honest, like I said, I told you guys this before, that I initially was introduced to Dr. Umar Johnson via my ex, who was from Brooklyn. When I was living in New York, like when I first met my ex, that was our date. We actually sat down and watched Hidden Colors. We watched it was so good. I saw the first one, and then it was so good that I just continued to watch. And so we watched like at the time in 2014, we watched the first three series, the first three parts of the series, Hidden Colors 1, 2, and 3, back to back. I think it was like all in the same night. If not, I continued on next day. And Dr. Umar Johnson was in there and he kind of stood out. But even after that, at that point, it's not like I was just, I don't even remember from then. I think maybe I had like Google him and watched maybe a few or more of his videos. But even in 2014, after I saw Hidden Colors, I don't think at the time, I can't recall, because I have a life, you guys. Like at the time when I was in New York, I was actually finishing up my master's degree then. So I don't remember. What I do remember when I really started to follow Dr. Umar Johnson was, it was actually during me and my ex's breakup last year. So me and my ex officially broke up like December 2017. And he has a tendency to want to pop up, because when we broke up, like he moved, I live in Hollywood, so he moved like literally right around the corner from where I live. And he popped up and he was showing me, telling me about the video. He was like, have you heard, about the beef that Tariq Nasheed and Dr. Umar Johnson, has or whatever. And it's interesting how people like to try to bring you drama and gossip and stuff, right? Especially when they're no longer a part of your life. But anyway, so I was like, I know I haven't heard of it. What's going on? He was like, oh, they beefing. I kind of was shocked by that because I was like, wow, being that Dr. Umar Johnson was a part of Tariq Nasheed's, documentary series, I was like, I just thought that that was a very good marriage that they had made, it's like a match made in heaven for them to unite and collaborate. And then to see that they were going back and forth and with Dr. Boyce Watkins, it was this whole thing. And so when he told me that, that's when I actually made, I think, my very first video about Dr. Umar Johnson, when the title of the video, I called it, I think, Three Conscious Clowns or something like that. And I have their names in it, but, and it wasn't to necessarily berate them or put them down, but it was just to, raise awareness on this issue that, why are they fighting? I think it was just stupid for them to just be going back and forth when they are all considered leaders, in Black America, and they're, getting on social media and behaving like this, and then all of them are in their 40s. So I kind of just gave my reaction to that in the video, and I think that was like my very first video on Dr. Umar Johnson. And to be quite honest, like from that point, I started to do a little bit more research on him, and that's when I started to catch up on his videos, like at that time. So that was like December 2017. So it's not like I've been following him like all these years and I just know like everything. To be honest, like I'm just still kind of learning about him. So it's not that I know everything about Dr. Umar Johnson, but at that time, like I said, I was just getting to learn more, and I started to, actually catch up on his videos. He has so many videos online, and I started to catch up on all of his past videos. And, come to find out, like, this whole thing about, fraud, and he's taking people's money, because of the donations they made to his school, the FDMG Academy, which I think is a brilliant idea, and then from there, I just continued to, support, express my public support of him and make my videos. And, like I said, my channel is not dedicated to Dr. Umar Johnson, as you guys already know. Like, I'm a vlogger, and my channel is about my life. That's why it's called Danny's World. But being that, his work, since I had began to do some research on him, like his work interests me, and saying that he's a psychologist, I'm like, okay, like, of course, I develop an affinity towards his work and what he's doing, his mission that he's on. And I find it kind of very unfortunate that, a man with good intentions, I guess, made some mistakes, and he's under attack by the Black community. He's under attack. And people are accusing him of stealing money, which I don't necessarily think that's what's happening. However, I do think, there are some things, I can see it from both sides, right? So as a person who owns an organization, a literary organization called Ubawa, For you guys who don't know, UBAWA stands for Urban Books, Authors, and Writers of America. I founded it back in 2010 to basically give authors a platform to promote their self-published works, because at the time when I was writing my autobiography and I was promoting my autobiography online, I noticed that there wasn't really a place for self-published authors to be recognized and known. So I'm like, okay, why not I create that platform, and it wasn't just a platform, but it was mainly like a network, a community that I wanted to pull together, of other authors where we can just support each other. And then from there, I realized it sprang. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger over the years. And so managing that organization over time, like I can definitely see it from both sides, as a business owner and a person who owns an organization, I can kind of see it, right? And especially as a consumer too, from a consumer's perspective of what's happening, this whole fiasco behind Dr. Umar Johnson, and everybody's like, where is the money, right? And I want to kind of share two experiences that I've had with, throughout the course of me owning my nonprofit or running my nonprofit organization, my literary organization, that has been quite successful over the years. So in 2013, we had our first annual convention. And when I initially started the convention, UBAWA Book Convention, I wanted it to be annual, which it still is, but I actually have taken a break from it because I'm in a PhD program that demands most of my attention. It's very time consuming. So, in order for, and anybody knows when it comes to running a business, like you have to dot your I's and cross your T's. Your P's, you got to be on your P's and Q's, because if not, your customers will make sure that you're on your P's and Q's, that they will put you on your P's and Q's. And so I know this from first-hand personal experience, which I'm going to share two examples with you guys in this video that I think is important, because like I said, people may say, oh, why is she supporting him? And it's like, I care about his mission. I care about him as an African-American man, but I do care about the mission that he's on. But I also want to make some things kind of clear with respect to this whole thing about taking people's money, because I have, from personal experience, I have something to say with regard to that. So, like I said, our first convention was held in Atlanta, Georgia. And by the way, what was I going to say? By the way, it's an annual convention, but I've taken some time off, to focus on my PhD studies. And every city that I've lived, I've hosted the UBAWA Book Convention. So I've lived in, or every state. I've lived in Atlanta. I hosted in Atlanta. That was back in 2013. I've lived in New York. We hosted there in 2015. And I live in LA. And then when I first moved to LA in 2016, we hosted the third annual UBAWA Book Convention. And, it's this story, what I'm going to share with you guys is quite interesting. So just to see, from a business perspective, like some things that, and it's not specific to one business or one type of, it happens in business. This happens, you guys. And it was something I wanted to say to prelude that, but it slipped my mind. I was just going to say it. It'll come back to me. Oh, so I'm just going to tell you guys the experiences and I'll come back and say that. So I find it quite interesting. First, before I go tell you guys experiences, I have to mention, this one person who I follow on Facebook. She's a comedian, very, very funny. I like her. And she goes by the name of Auntie Hammy. A lot of you guys probably know who I'm talking about, right? Her name on Facebook is Ham Shop Media, but she calls herself Auntie Hammy. Very funny African American comedian. I know some of you guys are probably like, "Oh, she's a coon," and I kind of want to address that word coon, because I think like we overuse that word coon like too frequently. You know, like we assign coon to like everybody, every black person who is funny, I guess. You know, and I just think that it's kind of inappropriate. So if you guys were to go and look her up on Facebook, you know, you might say, "Oh, she's a coon," or she's, you know, acting stupid, da da da. She's misrepresenting black people or black females. But I feel like, no. I feel like if, let's say, hypothetically speaking, just for the sake of making my point, that white people did not exist, right? Let's say we live in a black utopia, white people didn't exist, and slavery did not exist, right? So we just basically had a black utopia, you know, all black people, right? And black people, there were some black people within the population who were actually funny, who were actually jokesters and comedians. We wouldn't call them coons. We would just say that they're funny, you know, that they bring joy and light to our day. And that's kind of like how I look at Auntie Hammy. I feel like, you know, she's just using her platform. By the way, she has a master's degree. The woman is pretty educated, you know, but she has a master's degree in marketing, you know, and I watch some of her videos from time to time because it is a break from reality. You know, it's a relief, comedic relief. You know, it's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having fun, you know, and I just like her. I love her, you know, actually, like she's a joy to watch. And you guys have to go see her. Like, she's really funny. A lot of times she dances in front of videos, and she actually, I hope you guys can hear me, but she makes these videos where she dances, and she has her she calls them dance lessons, right? So she has, you know, people kind of join in and dance with her and stuff like that to music that she actually creates. So she's created a mixtape. You guys can see it on her page that she's created an actual mixtape that she made herself. I think actually in a professional studio out here in Hollywood. And she says she's signed, but I don't know how true that is. But anyway, I was watching one of her recent live videos. Where a person commented, "Hi, thank you." I was watching one of her recent live videos where a person commented, y'all, and this got me cracking up. Because a person commented, I know y'all serious, super duper serious folks, so y'all gotta be serious 100% of the time, whatever. But for me, I'm like, I'm a jokester. My dad, he's kind of, you know, I think I get it from my dad because he's funny too. He's a funny person sometimes. He tells jokes. And so, like, I have that kind of side, a comedic side to myself. And, like, I get humor, you know. I'm a humorous person. And so somebody commented, I guess one of the people who donated to her, because she's collecting donations of $12 from people for the year. So she says, you know, donate $12 for the year, and then you get to get her free mixtape, right? And so I guess somebody who donated to her, you know, donated their $12, a lady commented, and she was like, "I didn't get my mixtape." And so Auntie Hammy was like, "I'm so sick and tired of y'all black people." She's like, "I'm so sick and tired of y'all goddamn black people tripping and bitching over some goddamn 12 funky ass goddamn dollars," right? And that just had me fucking rolling when she said, she's like, 12 funky ass dollars. She was like, "Black people, let me tell you something about black people." And she's actually spent a few minutes kind of talking about this. She was like, "Black people get on my goddamn nerves because they will run you to your grave over some 12 funky ass dollars." But when she said it, y'all, I cracked up, of course. But when she said it, it reminded me of people who have donated to Dr. Umar Johnson's campaign. This is kind of more on the serious note. Like, people who have donated to Dr. Umar Johnson's campaign. And of course, like he said, he's accumulated nearly $1 million. I think the last time I heard him, he said it was $750,000, nearly $800,000. I know it's like, you know, over $750,000 that he has accumulated for his donation campaign towards FDMG Academy. So it reminded me of what, you know, him, right? But of course, a person of his stature, like, he can't necessarily say that. She's a comedian, so she can say it, but I don't think that it's really appropriate for him to say something like that, which I think he kind of has. Maybe have said something to that effect, right? That, black people, I think one time, I think he was at a 250,000. Somebody quoted him saying that he was like, black people, trifling as black people or something like that, because he wasn't able to reach the amount that he expected to meet or whatever. But that's why, especially with social media can be a blessing and a curse for business owners, because people take things, and people are really particular about their money, right? And this is where I want to kind of come in and give you guys the two examples that I've had from my own personal experience with running a literary organization. Now, like I said, we've hosted the Ubawa Book Convention 3 times in 3 different cities and states. In Atlanta in 2013, in New York 2015, and then in LA 2016. And it's always in the fall. I think that's a great time to host a book fair. And so it's more like a convention of authors kind of coming together. It's a beautiful event that I put together. People love it. Like, people within my organization, they love it. They support it and everything wholeheartedly, because when I initially started Ubawa, it's a little side note, when I initially created Ubawa, I just did it out of the kindness of my own heart. Just wanted to give back, give authors a platform, just promoting authors. I created a website, created a Facebook page. I just would, share their works, their books, promote them literally for free, because that's just my passion. I like helping people. And I remember the one that Ubawa Book Convention that we had in 2015 in New York City, right? It was at the Bronx Museum. Now, granted, when I host events like this, I host at nice venues. I feel like where you host an event is part of your brand. As business owners, we have to be very careful about protecting our brand, and making sure that, we just keep it tight, right? And so what goes into that is, obviously, location and where you choose to host events, or if you have a storefront, wherever you choose to position your business, the type of building, everything, all of that factors into your brand. And so every single location I've hosted the Ubawa Book Convention has been a really nice location. The first one was, like I said, in Atlanta, Georgia, at this place called the JIC, which stands for Georgia International Convention Center. The second one was in New York at the Bronx Museum, and the third one was out here in LA in Woodland Hills. Very, very nice neighborhood, upscale neighborhood. And so the one in New York, I laugh, y'all, because listen to this story. Just listen, y'all. It's like, in every event, like I say, it has been a success, right? But of course, customers, they have their own opinions, about things, right? So in New York, I remember, because it was actually, I think, on the one in the house in New York was actually on Halloween. It was on Halloween, so as part of the event, I had a costume contest, because I just like giving stuff away. I love giving freebies away, even money. Within Ubawa, I've given literally thousands of dollars away, just through contests. Best book cover contests, all kinds of contests. Writing contests. I just like giving stuff away because I'm a very charitable person. But I remember towards the end of the event, which I usually host the Ubawa Book Convention from 12 to 6. And we have, first I may say, we have a good turnout in terms of author registration and attendees that show up. And so author registration, the first one was actually higher because it was our first one. So we had nearly 100 authors registered. The second one in New York, I think it was maybe 60 authors, 60. And then the one out here in LA was about maybe 40, 50. It could be more. more or less, but round about those numbers, right? So that's a good turnout in my eyes. And so in New York, I remember towards the end of the event, of course, like my email notifications are sent to my phone, so I get them right away on my phone. And I remember getting a notification from PayPal of someone who actually requested a refund. And I look at it and I see who it is, and it's one of the publishers there. So not only do authors register, but publishers, people who own publishing companies, register for the event. And I'm looking at it, right? And so that particular year, the publisher registration fee was $250. Now, some people may say, damn, that's a lot of money, but not, it's all, you have to take it into context. You know, it depends on the event. It depends on, you know, who's paying. You know, for some people, that's not a lot of money. For other people, that is a lot of money, right? So I remember checking the email, and it was from PayPal because that's who I use to collect fees, and the person was requesting a refund, this publisher, right? And so of course it was for $250. That's how much the registration fee was. And I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? This person showed up to the event and then wants a refund. Not only that, but this person walking around the event, networking, selling copies of, you know, her book. I think she was with her partner. They were selling copies together. Like, she's walking around having fun. Not only that, but she was dressed up in a costume because she actually participated in the contest, which she actually won. And I believe the contest winner won, I think it was $300. I think I was giving away for whoever won the contest. And I think how I did it, if I can't remember how I did it. If I did it on Facebook, where I took pictures of every person who came up dressed up in their costume, their Halloween costume. And I think I took pictures, and I think I posted it on Facebook and had people vote. And so whoever had the most votes or likes, they won the contest. But this person who had requested the refund actually won the contest, right? But they were requesting a refund, right? So I found that quite interesting. And the person never came to me, never, you know, you would think like, okay, we're like in, I think the last hour of the event, they would come to me and say, hey, you know, I don't know, I don't like the event or something like that. Or even bring it up halfway through the event or the beginning, but no, wait all the way to the end, right? And then want to send this thing. Now, granted, with the Bible Book Convention, a good majority of the authors who register, and not just authors, but attendees, actually fly out. You know, some are locals, but I think the majority of people who attend the Bible Book Conventions, and I can say this with certainty, they fly out because, you know, these people, when they register, they're like, oh, you know, they want hotel information. They need all of this stuff. So, yeah, they fly. They don't live in the city where I host the event. They actually fly out. So, of course, that costs a lot of money. I get it, right? And I know sometimes you got hustlers. People try to hustle people. You know, they'll pay for something, but they just try to find a way to hustle to get their money back, you know, to save, you know, money in their expenses. I get it. I get it, right? But I found it quite strange that she would wait till the end of the event to request this refund for $250. And so, of course, being a business owner that I am, I contested it with PayPal. Now, not during the event, because I'm managing the event, so I don't have time to do that at that point. I'm managing the event. There's a lot. Think about hosting an event. It's a lot of moving parts. You know, you have to hire a lot of private contractors. You know, you have to set different appointments with people. It's like a lot of stuff that a lot of moving parts you have to pull together to manage an event. You know, especially of that capacity. And you have to secure the venue, you know, and there are fees associated with that. And like I said, every single venue that I've rented, you know, has not been less than $1,000. The first one in Georgia, that costed like $4,000, nearly $5,000 to rent that venue for one day for 6 hours. The one in New York, Actually was about the same price of $4,000 to rent the Bronx Museum for 6 hours. And then out here in LA, the place I found in Woodland Hills was a little bit cheaper because it was a little bit smaller, but it still was like $2,000. So these aren't cheap venues. We're talking about just for a couple hours out of the day, like 6 hours out of the day for a couple $1,000s, several $1,000s. And so, of course, like I didn't handle the refund request at that time, because I'm managing and, making sure that everybody's happy, everything is going smoothly and tying everything up, towards the end of the event. And of course, you have to get, break things down and make sure everything is clean. I hire people, private contractors to do all of that. I didn't do it myself, of course, but I have to manage all of these things, right? People who, the authors, the people there, even the news came out. Bronx 12 News came out, to do their little story on it or whatever. So, like, I had to meet with the news reporter. Like, all of this stuff I have to manage. And then, meanwhile, I get a pop-up at the end of the event talking about they want a refund, right? And it's interesting because some people, it's like, you find this, I think, a lot, especially, I think, with black people. Sometimes, this ain't all, but sometimes you got people that think that people, when they put on these events, especially if it's a non-profit, they think, oh, you just trying to make money, you're making all this money. They just think that you so rich, you got making all this money. It's like, no, the money that I collected from authors, guess what, went towards a venue, went towards paying my private contractors. What was I left with? Nothing. If anything, I probably had to come out of my pocket to pay the difference, for things that these expenses that I had that occurred, that it costs to put on an event, you guys, especially we talking about in major cities like New York, LA. It costs. These people, they charge, photographer. I had a photographer, professional videographer, like all of this stuff, y'all. I had a DJ, a person cooking, like people providing food, like all of this, catering, like it costs money, y'all. And people just think, oh, you're just trying to collect people's money. And so that's not the case. It's like, no, that's not, never the case. If that's the case, I would create a for-profit business, which I can easily do because I have all kinds of ideas, and which I'm going to do eventually when I have time. But no, Ubawa is specifically dedicated towards giving back to the community, giving back to self-published authors who are less represented, in the literary field. But you will hear like all kinds of stuff. So I've heard it all, you guys. Like you guys probably think that my world is just limited to just psychology and mental health, but no, like I have all kinds of variety of experiences in life to speak from. That's why I think it's important for me to share this part as it relates to Dr. Umar Johnson and what's going on with him. This is very important, I think, just as a business owner, period, not just him, but just business owners, period, like take heed to what I'm saying. So try to make this short, you guys. I know y'all got shit to do. I got shit to do, actually. But so the event ended, of course, and when I had time, I followed up with that refund request, and, of course I contested it because I'm like, no, you're not going to show up to my event, enjoy it, and on top of that, win the $300 for the costume contest, and then want to request a refund. Like, what you trying to do, cost some money? So basically that the event was just free for you, and you just sit here and make all these connects and network. That's the whole thing. The whole point is that you can network with other people. You build those connections. It's a networking event. Not only that, but you sell copies of your book. You promote your work, and she stayed the entire time. It would be different if she showed up and she was like, okay, spend an hour. I'm like, you know what? I'm not feeling this. I want a refund. But even still, according to PayPal's policy, because PayPal obviously has their policies, you wouldn't be entitled to a refund if the business owner delivered the service or product. If the service or product has been delivered, you're not entitled to a refund. But she felt that she was. And so how PayPal does it, when a seller sells something to a customer buys it, then the customer requests a refund. What PayPal will do, they will hold the funds on behalf of the seller's account. So let's say the seller has $10,000 in their account. PayPal, for that particular service, $250, they will put a hold on the account for $250. So you will see instead of $10,000 showing in your account, it would be $250 less showing in your account, essentially. So that's what they did. They put a hold on the account for $250, and then I had to submit documentation showing that I delivered the service. In this case, it was a service, not necessarily a product. It was a service. Being that in exchange for $250, she was supposed to get a table, which she did, and the 2 chairs. I think it was a table with 2 chairs, at the Ubawa Book Convention. So I had to provide proof that she was there, which I did, and of course we took pictures. So everybody who was there took pictures of the event, and I basically sent pictures of, photos of her in her costume, photos, even videos I think I had of her, and her partner to PayPal. It's like the things that business owners have to go through. Sometimes it can be shocking. People think running a business is just all sweet and dandy, and people like, oh, I'm a boss. But sometimes y'all don't understand, it's not always that you're a boss. Sometimes you have to submit, sometimes you have to kind of relinquish some of your power, so to speak, because that's just the nature of the business. So even though I was the boss, right, I still had to provide documentation and proof that she attended the event, that I delivered the service, and she was there. And once I did that, they released the hold and returned the money back to my PayPal account. So she lost that claim. She lost that case, case closed, right? That was that ordeal. Like I said, I'm going to share with you guys 2 examples, 2 experiences that I had. And I learned a great deal even from that situation, It's just you just have to make sure that you dot your I's and cross your T's, which I always do anyway, but even more so. When you go through experiences like that, it just makes you even more on top of your stuff, right? And so that was that, and that was in 2015. So fast forward to 2016, something similar happened, but actually it was for a lesser amount, and it was actually before the event had even started. So there was an author who had paid. At the time, I think I had a discount going because I wanted to get, more authors to sign up and come out to LA. And for some reason, I noticed doing business out in LA with respect to the African American community is not as lucrative as doing business on the East Coast within the African American community, because I don't know, it seems like there ain't that many black people out here. It's even when I moved to LA, I'm like, where the black community? Where we at? I mean, we here, but it's not like the East Coast. The East Coast, we know where the black people at in the major cities. You go to DC, you go to Atlanta, you go to Florida, we know where the black, but out here is more whitewash. And so, of course, the structure of that particular event with respect to author registration was slightly different than what it was on the East Coast for Ubawa. And so I ended up reducing the author registration. I think I was just kind of basically giving away booths, right? Or tables. And I think it was $35, y'all. $35. That shit is that's a steal right there, right? And so I remember one author, I think she had changed her mind at the last minute. She was like, I'm not going to be able to come, to the Bible Book Convention out in LA. And it's interesting because people will pay money for an event that they ain't even planned for. They just jumping on the bandwagon, giving you their money, right? And they ain't even necessarily planned. They're not properly prepared, or they didn't plan to come because it costs money. I think, she was in Illinois, Chicago. It's to LA, so you gotta, of course, pay for hotel accommodation. You gotta pay for the flight accommodations, and she hadn't done that. So at the last minute, she's like, I want a refund. She sent an email requesting a refund, and of course, and as a business owner, I'm like, I gave her the policy. I was like, and everybody who registered for the Ball Book Convention, they knew the policies. The policies were laid out in advance. I always do that because I feel like communication is almost like the number one important thing when it comes to running communication. You got to clearly communicate things to people, especially when it's involving money. You have to. You have to clearly communicate, because if not, child, they coming for your ass. And so I clearly communicated that in the beginning that, before I took anybody's money, that no refunds. Once you pay, there are no refunds. Now, if something happens, let's say things happen where you cannot make it, then your registration fee can be applied to the next event, but we're not offering any refunds. Because the thing, people don't understand, like on the business side, it costs money, right, to put on an event, right? Like, it's a lot of things going on. And so if I'm expecting X number of authors who have paid to show up, I've already collected the money. Their money is obviously going towards a venue. The money is already spent. So at that point, the money already spent, but she's requesting a refund for $35. So I'm like, I told her, I was like, this is a policy. There are no refunds, right? We don't give refunds. This is a policy. And she was just adamant. She was like, oh no, you're going to give back my money. And not only that, but right after I sent a reply email telling her what the policy was, she took to social media. That's why I say social media can be a blessing and a curse for businesses, because it is what it is, you guys. It is what it is. And best to believe, when people are unhappy, especially customers, and I hate to make it about race, but race is a factor in this equation, because it seems to be that a lot of African Americans, like, we don't play about our money. We don't play because we are a disenfranchised group. We've been through a lot, and we just don't like to get fucked over. Black people will kill your ass over $5. I've seen it. Will kill you over $5. Like Auntie Hammer say, 12 funky ass dollars. Oh, but I have to say that she's a trip. That tripped me out. But yeah, people would take to social media to avenge, for how they felt that you've done them wrong, right? So that's what she actually did. She went to social media, and being that we were connected, on Facebook at the time, immediately, like, I saw her post in my timeline, and she was just going off. She was like, oh, Bawa, trying to keep my money. And I told him I don't want to go to that raggedy ass event. Just, I'm not necessarily literal words that she said, but it's like roundabout. This is like the flavor, of what she was saying in the post. You can't, sometimes things like that, it kind of leaves a mark on you. You remember things like that. So she was like, yeah, because it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't happen frequently. I've collected money from authors and people throughout the years, and for the most part, good business, no issues. But then you have your, your few people, once in a while will come, and for whatever reason, people ask refunds for many different reasons, right? In her case, it was a last minute planning type of thing, and she just couldn't make it out here to LA, so she wanted her money back. And immediately after she got my email letting her know what our policy was, she took to social media immediately. I saw her post, and she was like, yeah, Ubawa, I don't want to go to that shit. I want my money back. I try to get my money back, and they won't give me my money back. She didn't tell motherfucker. I didn't. Actually, she did. She was like, I don't care if it is $35. She was like, I'll come way out there to LA and get my money. If I have to come way out there to LA and beat her motherfucking ass, like, she put my name in it, like, y'all. She went in, and of course, when you see something like that as a business owner, it's embarrassing, because you have your brand, your baby, right there, right? So, of course, it's embarrassing, but, you kind of, how to deal with it, right? It just comes with the territory. You kind of learn how to deal and navigate with stuff like that, unfortunately, right? But she took to social media, and she just called herself trying to put me on blast, me and Ubawa, and she was like, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to get my money, even if I have to book a flight and come out there and get my money out of her. I don't care if it is $35. You know, she gonna give me my motherfucking money and, you know, threatening to, you know, beat my ass. And of course, as a business, that's what I say. Like, even though you know, people go into business and say, I want to be a boss, I'm a boss, right? Even though you're a business, it's like there are moments where you have to be humble, because that's just the nature of the business. You have to put your own personal feelings aside. Because you know, had I stepped into my own personal feelings, I would have retaliated and went back on social media and went off on her. But I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't, just because she is being ratchet, you know. And yes, people may say she has every right to do that because that's her money. She paid her money and she didn't show up, da, da, da. But if our policy says one thing, you get what I'm saying? Like, if a policy says this, then that's not right. That's just like, for example, I've actually hosted a fundraiser on GoFundMe. You know, this was many years ago when I was living in Atlanta, Georgia. I had a fundraiser for kids to raise money to collect kids' books, you know, and it was successful. I raised $1,000 in less than 30 days. I collected actually kids books. Some people donated kids books actually, and then some people, for the most people actually donated money. And so with that money, I went and I purchased children's books and I gift wrapped them in Christmas paper. And I went throughout the neighborhood where I was living in Atlanta. It was in the hood around Christmas time. And I like hand delivered children's books to these little kids, these beautiful Black African-American kids in the neighborhood, you know, and they were just so happy. But, you know, even with GoFundMe has a policy where when people make donations, you guys, like, that's it. First time, see the beautiful girl. Thank you. But they have a policy where, you know, you donate money to a GoFundMe campaign. That's it, y'all. There's no refunds from that, right? And so, you know, I know about different company policies, and, you know, I find it interesting how some people will just be so adamant, you know, like, give me back my money, give me back my money. And like I say, I mentioned those two examples because it reminds me, you know, I have to speak to, you know, I'm speaking to Dr. Umar Johnson's situation. And it's just like, you know, yes, you are the captain of your ship as a business owner, but there are times where you just have to be humble and you have to bite. Thank you. You say my work. Thank you. Where are you tuning in from? Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. It's a different kind of spelling. But, you know, there are times where you got to be humble, man, you know, and you may want, you know, personally, you may want to just be like, no, this motherfucker didn't. Bitch, I'll beat your motherfucking ass, la, 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 you know. And I don't talk like that anyway, but I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, you know, just so y'all can relate to what I'm saying, it's just like, you may want to do that, but you can't do that as a business owner. You can't go off on people. You know, you may want to, but you just can't. You have to always maintain a professional. What you say, Shamlina? Okay, where are you tuning in from? You just have to maintain a professional stance, professional attitude at all times, even if the customer is dead ass wrong. Right? That's why they came up with the slogan, oh, the customer is always right. No, the customer isn't always right, but it's like you have to operate in a certain fashion as if, you know, they are right, and just make accommodations to them, because that's the nature of business, you know, and that's how you can actually keep people happy. Because at the end of the day, it's like you're chained to a customer satisfaction. Unfortunately, you may think, oh, I'm running my ship, I'm the boss, but no, you're chained to their satisfaction. You know, like, that's your obligation to make sure that the customers are happy, that they keep coming back. Because guess what? Once the customer is unhappy, and especially with social media, y'all, we live in some interesting times. Like I say, social media is a blessing. And it's a blessing because, you know, it's free. It's a free platform, free advertising. You know, it's easy to network. It's easy to build a following somewhat. For some people say, no, it's not that easy. But for some people, it is easy, because if you know how to use those tools to build your following, to network, then it's easy. If, you know, some people haven't got that down pat yet, but that's a whole nother story. But And then it's a curse, because people immediately would go to social media, and y'all know how fast negativity spreads. All it takes is for one person, one customer to be dissatisfied, then make a video or a post, and go online, and we know how fast negativity spreads. It spreads like wildfire. And, those posts get shared over and over and 1,000 times. And before you know it, you may have a very good reputation. I hate when I get those updates. So you may have a very good reputation as a business, and all of a sudden your reputation goes, because the nature of the beast of social media. It's just unfortunate. So, long before I knew this, long before I discovered Dr. Umar Johnson, like I said, I'm just most recently in the end of 2017 kind of learning about his work and who he is, and throughout this year I've kind of been able to learn more. But long before I discovered who Dr. Umar Johnson is, I knew all about this stuff. Sorry, but I'm gonna have to block you for being disrespectful. I knew all about, just business, right? Like, not saying not everything, but I know a lot, put it that way. I know a good deal about, doing customer service and just working with people, and running a literary organization isn't the only kind of business that, I've had. Like, I've done several other things. My very first business actually was, let me see, gotta go way back, when I was like in grade school, doing hair. I think probably was one of my first business ventures. I used to braid hair, and even then you just got, it's about it's always about customer satisfaction, and some of y'all may be like, I don't kiss no ass, but hey, that's the thing. When you take people's money, it's like you have to deliver, don't take people's money if you're not going to deliver. And that brings me to kind of like my last point. I gotta go ahead and wrap this up, but that kind of brings me to my last point, to say that, when taking people's money, you got to deliver. That's the reason why, like I said, I'm in the PhD program right now, and I've received, like, even still on a daily basis, like, I get lots and lots of emails. Through BAWA. Like, emails have stacked up. It's sad, it's unfortunate. Emails have stacked up with people kind of, it's fortunate but unfortunate, because I can't deliver at this point. So I don't take people's money, but I've received like lots of emails, inquiries from people who want me to deliver services through BAWA. Like, they're like begging to give me their money, but I'm not going to take it. I haven't taken it. I'm not going to take it. I don't take people's money if I can't deliver the service. I've been knew that long before I discovered who Dr. Umar Johnson is and what's going on with, his situation. It's unfortunate. Things happen, you guys, but I knew that. I'm kind of tired of talking. I gotta go end this video. But you just don't take people's money. And, like I said, I have, various experiences in business, doing, business with people. And it's just about customer satisfaction, keeping the customer happy. You have to keep the customer happy. That's number one. And communication, I would say, probably is the most important thing when it comes to running a business. When you have customers, like, you have to let them know. If you keep people in the dark, especially if you're taking their money, right? Especially if you're quick to take their money, but when it comes to communication, when they communicate to you and they have a question or something like that after they've given you their money, and you don't respond in a timely manner, and what is this? Excuse me, guys. But if you don't respond like in a timely manner, that's not good business ethics. You may say, oh, well, I'll respond to it. I get to it when I get to it. Now, for me, like I said, like, I do have literally thousands of unanswered emails in BAWA, but I have not taken their money. Those are just people, potential customers, who want to give me their money. They're like, hey, I want this service. And I'm like, I can't take it because, number one, I'm in a PhD program that demands most of my attention anyway, like a lot of my time. So I just don't have the time, But luckily and gratefully, once I get towards finishing my dissertation and defending it, probably when I'm in my APA internship, that's only my fifth year APA internship, is the last step of my PhD. And I'll be done with my coursework, be done with my dissertation. So the only thing I would have to focus on is just treating clients. So yeah, then I may actually be able to go ahead and pick up some more work, but hey, at least they'll still be there. And not only that, like I'm still very much connected to my organization. So although I'm not delivering services per se that I've charged for, I'm still somewhat delivering services that I'm not even charging for just by sharing their work. You guys go to ubawa.org, spelled ubawa.org. I still promote authors for free. That's because it's my passion. That's something that I'm naturally inclined to do, just to give back, to help people, because I just want to see more African American authors out there. I think it's beautiful. And I think since Ubawa has been created, like Ubawa has been a huge staple in the literary community. We've actually inspired so many authors to get published. Ubawa alone has inspired so many African American authors. You guys just go. My work speaks for itself. I don't have to brag. Just go to ubawa.org. You guys can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/urban authors and just see, like I just do it out of the kindness of my own heart. And I see that Dr. Umar Johnson, that's what he does, out of the kindness of his own heart. He just, gives back, like his parent conferences that he does, the teleconferences that he hosts, I think on Sundays. He does it, he don't charge for those. He just gives back. Even though people have attacked him, accused him of fraud and all this stuff, like when a person has a heart to give, and especially if that's their calling, that's just what they're going to do. They're going to do what they're designed to do, and nobody can come in the way of that. That's why I don't know, I find it's unfortunate that, he's under attack. People are attacking him, and what has happened. And yes, on one hand, I believe he may have made, a misstep, right? We all make missteps where he envisioned that, he would be able to, I think he started his fundraiser in 2014, I believe. But he may have envisioned that he would be able to, start his fundraiser and then a year later, open his school. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. Businesses do it all the time. They have these projections where they say, okay, well, by this time or this year, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And it doesn't necessarily happen that way. And then, people are wondering, like, what's going on. I think for him, he responded to those inquiries, like, in a video. I've seen videos where he's actually said, where the people keep saying, where the money at, but he's actually expressed and stated in videos where the money is, but because he doesn't necessarily own a YouTube channel now, like people are kind of, maybe they didn't see the video, it's like he doesn't even have a website, so there's no like one place, a designated place that people can go to and say, okay, this is where I can find all the information about the FDMG Academy. There isn't a place where people can just go and find information, which there should be. Like, there needs to be a website, especially with that amount of money raised, I tell authors this all the time, even if they don't have, a line of readers, knocking at their door, trying to give them money. I mean, it's important just to start with a website. That's part of your brand, to have a home for your business, a virtual home, a website. A website is very cheap anyway to purchase. You can get a website for less than $200, Professional website, you may have to spend a little bit more for a professional, but let's say a do-it-yourself website through Wix.com, Wix.com, or Weebly.com, it doesn't cost that much money, less than $200, for the year. So that's very pertinent, I think. This is just me sharing this, to him, because I care, and not just him, but other business owners. I'm pretty sure he knows this already. It's not like I'm telling him something he don't know. But, a website would be good to have for the FDMG Academy, because people need a place they can go to and say, okay, that's the thing, like, people customers, when they don't like to be in the dark. No one likes to wonder, like, well, where, what, when, what, and then there are no answers there. Although he has answered that question so many times in videos, it's like some people didn't catch the video. They don't watch YouTube videos, so they just don't know. But there needs to be a place. GoFundMe, I guess, was that place, but they shut down the GoFundMe account because there was some suspicion. There's some issues and whole politics surrounding that whole fiasco. But it would be nice if he were to create a FDMG website, a home, that people can go to and learn about what he's doing, even learn about the history, I think it's good just to be transparent. So tell people, these are the struggles that the FDMG Academy went through. People were accusing me of fraud, and I went through this, and, even provide examples of people, attacking. I think it just speaks to his testimony, of this great thing that he's building. That's part of the testimony. It happens in all of our lives. We all have testimonies, where we can say, well, hey, this is a success story. This is the end. But here, look, this is a story. This is the history. This is the timeline. Look at all of the ups and downs, look at the struggles that we've had to overcome and that we've overcame to get to this success of opening this school. That would be beautiful. So it's like, not that you got to hide, that you were accused of fraud or people were attacking you, or you made some missteps. It happens, In every business, it happens. The most successful businesses, they have their failures or missteps, mishaps, and they bounce back from them, because they're very resilient and keep going. I just encourage Dr. Umar Johnson, hey, bounce back, keep going, find a way to get a website launched and get the information out there so people know, this is what is happening. People just want to see that there's some accountability for what's going on, not to just be in the dark, because it's kind of, because there has been a certain degree of silence, with him, where it seems like, okay, he's not talking about the FDMG. He ain't even making any live videos hardly anymore. It's just like people are wondering, like, damn, well, is it true? Or did he really steal the money? Because he ain't talk about it, no more. But if he was to talk about it and make videos about it, at least have a website, who am I? I don't know. But hey, I think that's pretty much it. I just want to leave on a positive note to say that we gotta stick together, you guys. Like, I get it, from a consumer standpoint, y'all like, nah, man, nah, he don't do that shit. He don't take our money and run off and get silent and, go off to all these different countries and don't tell us, But that's why I encourage businesses, like, just be communication. Especially when that's the first thing. I'm pretty good at that. Like, I'm taking someone's money and that paying customer sends me an email, I respond to that email right away. I do not let that email. Now, people who haven't paid, let's say, like I told you guys earlier, I have literally thousands of unanswered emails from people who are wanting to do business with me, but at this time, which I've made it known, I am focused on my PhD. So I just don't have the time to deliver those services. That's why I am not taking no one's money. But in the past, for people who have paid Ubawa, sent some money to Ubawa, oh, best to believe their email is getting answered right away. I don't care how many people. It could be thousands. It don't matter. You have to find a way to just let people know, and this is just me speaking just from the heart, not trying to attack anybody. This goes for every business owner. Like, you have to be transparent. You have to be open with communication. You can't keep people in the dark. You have to, when people give you money, don't act like you don't see them. Don't act like you don't hear them. No. That's just good business practices. But hey, I can go on and on about this for days. But I have to end because I actually have homework. I have some homework to do. It's my first week of my semester in my PhD program. And y'all, I only got 3 semesters of coursework left after this, and I will be done with my coursework, on to my AP internship. So yes, I'm always saying this. I'm just so excited, y'all. I'm just so excited. But let me go ahead in this video because I'm actually tired of talking, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. You guys want to tune into the next one, by the way, because I have some concerns related to what I talked about initially at the start of my video with, you know, how my dream came about. I'm going to tell you guys, like, what kind of triggered that dream, the thoughts that I've been having, and the concerns I've been having. So, I don't know when I'm going to do that video. Maybe tomorrow. So, I'll catch you guys maybe tomorrow. But stay blessed, stay up. Love you guys. Share this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.